Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the ABA podcast. I am AJ Miskinnis, usually behind the camera, stepping in front to host the pod this week. And joining me for the second week in a row, Max Walazuski.
Yes, sir. Love to be here.
And for the first time this season, Nick D. Ballsack Sports.
That's me, Nick D. Ballsack Sports represent.
Yes, sir. We need to think of a new nickname for the other Nick. Because having two Nick D's makes it confusing.
We got
Nick D.
We got Nick from Ballsack Sports and Nick not from Ballsack Sports.
Maybe we just call you Ballsack.
I'm in. You got me convinced.
All right, let's get started, boys. So we're going to start with our week 2 reaction. As you can see behind me, we got our players of the week, one of which is joining us today. Max, congratulations, my man.
Thank you.
8 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 8 of 23 shooting. 8 points for Gabe, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 4 steals, and 2 of 4 from 2-point, which was really good for him.
Yeah.
So we're going to start by talking about the Winnipeg versus Houston game. That was our game. So let's actually give Nick the box score because he wasn't there.
Yeah, I'll take that back.
And I'll ask you, just because you played in it, start off, how did you feel about it?
Honestly, I was pretty upset about my bad performance in the beginning because I had so many easy layups that I just didn't make. They just weren't falling for me. And also with that early injury on Big A, that hurt my heart going in because I was like, I
Poked him in the eyes.
I know. I wanted to say I was frustrated and I don't know, messed up, but it's on me at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, totally. You feel good about how the rest of the guys played, though?
I do. I think Eric clutched up compared to his last game, and Tommy did amazing. He could have gotten MVP because he got 7 and I got 8.
Yeah, it was the rebounds that swayed it for me.
Yeah, but like I said, Tommy was great.
That was his first game, too.
Quinn, I feel bad because I feel like I limited his minutes, and he probably is the better player.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the way that we're going to structure our team is we're just going to have Quinn start,
Yeah.
get us going, and then I think Eric is great defensively in the last 5 points that you need.
Yeah,
So
totally. For
I think we have a good system.
What did you think looking at the box score, Nick?
I mean, absolute barn burner of a game. Combined 4 for 26 shooting from the 2-point line. That's big. That's real good. Obviously, Big A comes to play. That man is a dog. 9 for 24, a block, only 1 turnover.
Yeah.
He just dominates. There's a reason he was the first pick in the draft. Because even against one of the better players in the league, he's still putting up 10. Basically, just putting the team on his back. No offense to you.
That's definitely true.
You got 13 rebounds. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
2 assists. We're not going to talk about the field goal percentage, but or the turnovers.
We can get to that. Oh, God.
But, yeah, I wasn't there, so I don't really know. But looking at the box score, it looks like it was a close game.
Mm-hmm.
And the big players showed up, and Houston ended up winning.
Yeah, totally. And I think that, to kind of, wrap this up, I felt like it's the second week in a row where we lost, and I wasn't feeling that bad about my team. I feel like Jack, especially this game.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even talk about Jackson. 2 for 7.
There's
4 turnovers.
There's been some Jackson Chipotle slander on this podcast by Tom. You gonna continue that?
I might have to, because, Jimmy went 2 for 9, but how much did Jackson play?
He rotated with Jimmy, and we all actually subbed in, which I thought was really good. You kind of forced Big A to sub out earlier.
I did,
but
yeah,
it was one of those things where it was an accident, a freak accident, obviously.
Yeah.
He was okay. Had to pour some water in his eyes, I felt good about how Jimmy and Jackson played, because if he's dropping 3 and 2, that's what I want him to do off the bench. Rotating in and out.
Mm-hmm.
I felt for us, it was when you guys. We talked about it. It was you guys literally stopped switching on Big A. When we were doing the pick and roll, I was picking and on you to get Big A better matchup.
Yeah.
And there was a point in that game, I don't know if you remember it. I don't know if you guys talked about it too, but where we noticed you just stopped switching. You were just I'm chasing every single one of those picks. And I couldn't really get you on the picks because it didn't matter because Big A was just not gonna pull up off of the pick. And when he did, like, he did, but he wants to drive.
Yeah, that's his go-to. I do remember during halftime, we talked about just as soon as Big A touches the paint, like double, triple team him.
Yeah.
Because that's honestly the only way to get a good like defensive play on him.
Oh, 100%.
Because
Because then once you stop him, like I saw that happen a lot. Once you stop him and he holds on to it, then we got to like adjust because he wants to take it to the rack. And when he doesn't, like he's not allowed to, he's got to like take a second and look around, and we got to do a better job of getting open for him.
Yeah. It's tough though, because when you don't have a lot of, I mean, you guys can hit threes.
I think we can. I just need to be, I think I need to be more consistent. I think the biggest thing that game showed me was once again, it's like we're close, we're this close, but the difference needs to be me. Like Big A's doing Big A needs to do. I got to be doing more. 4 points from a captain is just not where it needs to be. That's the lowest I've ever put up. And I did it in 2 weeks in a row.
I was going to say, going back to last week, we said we sold your first week performance. Now, it's not, I don't know.
No, I know.
Is this a pattern?
We'll see. Speaking of a pattern, great segue right here. We're going to talk about a pattern of winning. Now, we'll talk more about the news later about the Gamblers. But the Gamblers are 2-0. They've won 2 in a row. And this game, we'll go to Nick first. You want to take a look at that box score. This game was your team without you, without Velzy, without that boy Sebastian, once again.
Yeah, that's tough.
And it was Nolan on a 10-day with Newman and Trina against the entire Vegas Gamblers. How do you think your team did?
Definitely a valiant effort. Out-rebounded them, out-turnovered them by not quite a severe margin, but I mean, Newman dropped 13 and 15. That's big. Nolan dropped 15 rebounds and 5 steals, which is insane. Like 5 steals is crazy to drop, but was still a negative in the steal turnover differential, which is kind of tough.
Which is tough with 5 steals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But to only lose by 2 to a full team while missing your captain and your second pick in the draft, that's real good. Plus, you had a dude who wasn't even on your team the week before and could have been out of the league. Like, he's basically a G League call-up. 10-day contract. What? 15-minute call-up player, in the words of Flight Reacts.
Yeah. Flight Reacts quote.
I mean, speaking of, there's no good joke there, unfortunately. I was going to say Nolan plays like Flight Reacts, but
he impressed your teammates, man. He impressed your teammates. Newman really wants him on the team right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to slander Nolan because I feel like there's certain things that he does do really well. Like, that man is a workhorse.
Yeah.
And as for Vegas, I mean, obviously they got the dub, but I don't really want to say it's like that valid of a win because you played a pretty weak team. Like, Velzy's one of the best players in the league, and obviously you miss him. You're missing a big body in me, which obviously you need because, I mean, if no one's getting 15 boards, how many boards would I have got?
I can't believe you guys out-rebounded them, like, without you there.
That's what I'm saying. And like I was going to say for the first game, it all just comes down to the turnover differential.
Yeah.
The team who turns the ball over more in this league is going to lose because eventually someone's going to hit a shot. Oh my god, I'm just looking at the stats. It says 7 for 34 from 3. Oh my god.
7? That's a 4.
4 plus 3 is 7.
Oh yeah, for the I thought you were
I'm talking combined. So 7 for 54.
One thing that you weren't there, and I don't know if you saw it, but Max, you were there. How do you think about how Gabe started this game?
I mean,
do you remember how he did
it? The same way he did last time. Like he got.
I'm talking about who he started the game with.
Oh right, yeah. He started with Dan Kelly, Nick, and Noah.
Joel, right?
Joel.
I did see that. I did watch the first little bit of the game. I got bored because I wasn't playing, so I didn't really.
That's fair.
I just watch myself. I love looking at myself.
Ooh.
It's good to get in the film room.
But I watched it, and I did see Gabe out there starting. I was like, this is an interesting strategy. I mean, it ended up working, but barely.
What do you think?
I think Gabe has proven a point to Nolan that like he would sub people out if he wants to, but the situation he was in last week didn't permit it. they were, way too close for him to get minutes.
Yeah.
But I did notice that when Gabe subbed out, I think it was like 10-5. They ended up going down 11-10.
Yeah, I know. That was insane.
And it was as soon as Gabe went out, Newman hit a 2, and then I think they got a few other buckets, and then probably another 2, and then they were losing going into the half.
I think I might have a conspiracy theory with his strategy.
Really?
I think he's trying to boost his MVP odds by showing that without him on the court, his team isn't that good. And when he's on the court, he makes the biggest impact.
Yeah, I think that if you're going by impact, I think Gabe is definitely one of the most impactful players just because of, like, what he brings in terms of intensity and stuff. Like, some people might say he takes the league too seriously. I think when he's on the court, he's got like when he's on the court, he's got like the competition and like the edge you want out of a captain. Like I think he motivates his teammates to be better, and it has to be the right fit. Obviously, some people won't respond well to that, but like I think that like when he comes on the court, he directs traffic in a really good way. Like
he's definitely a leader. Like he's definitely the kind of guy you want as a captain because he's just got that intensity. He's got that fire.
I do, and like I think that like he gets a lot of hate sometimes for his like stuff on the court, But sometimes that intensity motivates you to be better and motivates other people to be better because like, and I'll use Eric as the example, right? Like when Eric gets hot, Eric will sometimes just literally set himself on fire from 3. Right. Like set himself on fire from the field because he's thinking in his head, he's like, no, I'm showing this guy up,
Right. Yeah. There's that little like, I don't know what to call it, but like that inner drive to beat other people and like prove that you're the one. That
Totally. So it was a pretty good week, I would say. Both games were entertaining.
I missed 1 week and I feel like I missed out on so much game lore.
This league is a constant stream of lore. We're not even gonna cover what fucking happened with Nolan and Gabe, okay? Just kidding. We are. Just kidding. You thought the Gabe praise was here? Okay. So, for the league viewers who maybe don't know, I don't know. I feel like most of us watch it, but I was briefed that there are some people who aren't in the league that watch. So. Gabe and Nolan had a little bit of an issue, just a little bit. They've been having issues ever since Nolan requested his release from the team after week 1.
Yep.
It's been pretty hot between the two of them, and Nolan playing in this week did not do anything to ease that. So we're gonna show the clip. You two have seen it, but we'll look at it one more time. And this is Gabe hitting Nolan in the face with the ball during the game. And we'll look at it one more time because Max and Nick are going to have to answer one question for me.
It's just so crazy.
So, the question I'm going to ask you boys, was it intentional? Because Gabe says it wasn't, Nolan says it was.
You got it, Nick.
Nick up first.
I don't see in any universe where you unintentionally do that. He spins, he squares up with him, takes a second, then goes like that.
He's like bonking him for real.
Like what else is this motion? Like what else is that motion gonna be used for?
Because like at first he's like,
you don't pass like
he's
that.
just trying to create space, I guess, but he's drawing an offensive foul in my opinion, and then he just slams Nolan. Like, he wasn't making a pass.
So the argument for Gabe here is that if you can see at the start, Noah kind of sags off.
That's already, like, crazy.
Noah kind of sags off, and Trina focuses on Gabe. So if you think that maybe he's trying to pass to Noah, but I don't know.
I'm going to be honest, in that position, Gabe is not passing
that. It's so...
He was either going to elbow Nolan or hit him in that with the ball. That's the only 2 options.
Peace was never an option.
It's bad blood.
I hate to say it, but I think it was intentional.
Yeah, you think it was intentional?
I think it was definitely intentional. I think he's lucky not to get fined. I think he's lucky
fined
not
by
to
the
get
league?
Suspended.
Suspended by the league. Wow. Personally, we'll look into it. We might conduct an investigation. Maybe this was the investigation. Who knows?
Ooh.
Who knows?
Are there any flagrant fouls in this league. Is that a thing?
Yeah. I think that it has to be really egregious. So like when we saw that, Nolan stole it from him, so we didn't really. We just kind of played on because Nolan. Props to Nolan on that one. I'll say because Gabe hit him in the face and Nolan just fucking ripped it from him. You know, like damn, bro. All right, moving forward, we're gonna take a look at the week 2 standings following the games to wrap this up a little bit. Gamblers are in sole possession of first place, 2-0. For now. Gray Jays and Voyagers are tied for second right now at 1-1, and the Winnipeg Blizzard are 0-2 in sole possession of fourth place, which does not make the playoffs. So
scary. We're
looking at next week's matchups. Voyagers versus Gamblers and Blizzard versus Gray Jays. Boys, which matchup do we think is going to be more crucial for seeding?
I definitely think you can go first.
Yeah, Max first.
I think Gray Jays and Blizzards, because I think if Blizzards lose, you're just done.
Yeah.
I think you may have to win out the season.
What do you think?
I was gonna say Ottawa and the Blizzard too, because if the Blizzard lose, you got to start to think: are they tanking? Like, are they tanking for the first overall pick again?
I agree with you guys. I think that next week is a must-win game for us, but I also think that it's a must-win game for the Gamblers. And when I say that, I'm saying like they're 2-0 right now. A win guarantees playoffs. I think, like Max said, for us, a win eliminates us pretty much. A win guarantees playoffs for them. And I feel like they're in a position where they need to clinch like a playoff spot. They need to do something because the Voyagers are a tough matchup. We know that we played you guys. And if they can't beat you, then all of a sudden 1-1 or 2-1, 2-1.
Right.
You guys have the head-to-head. We'll see who plays during rivalry week, but that already puts you guys at a good position. And if they miss the bye, who knows, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think that is a good point because Gamblers, they definitely want to, honestly, I feel like if they get first seed, they would love to just coast and get right to finals. And I feel like they're in the position to do that, but I just don't see them clinching next week.
I think they also got to prove themselves after getting a pretty...
We're going to talk about that exactly right now, Nick. That's a great point. And that's also why I picked the Gamblers, and I think it's really important. Nolan Matovich out for the season with a broken ankle, sustained playing pickup. Crazy timing for that.
It's so sad.
What do you think, Nick?
I think
how are they going to overcome it?
I think it's tragic because, I mean, he looked like a lock for MIP.
Oh, 100%.
Just steal of the draft. Like, I mean, he did shoot 1 for 11 from 2 this past game.
Yeah.
But
he led the team in scoring.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the amount of threes my whole team took last week. 11.
It's not great, and then 1 for 10 from Nick, but like I'm saying, like he's big, and without him, I mean, some of these field goal percentages are looking pretty rough. I mean, you got to find a free agent to sign probably.
Yeah, maybe make a trade.
If it's not Nolan, then.
Because there's a roster spot. There is a roster spot.
I was going to say, do you feel like you need to trade after,
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. I think this is a huge blow. Like,
Definitely.
Noah, Nick, and Gabe, I felt like were the strongest 3 in the league after 2 weeks.
The big 3.
The big 3. You could say the biggest of 3s, potentially. And that's a huge loss that no one was expecting. And dude, if Nolan was like on that team right now, which he might be. So what we said about Nolan was he'll show up for both games. If that boy Sebastian pulls up, he will be on Gabe's team. If he doesn't, he'll be on the Gray Jays.
Okay.
So that's what we'll say. Because then that roster spot will be free because of inactivity. We're not going to kick anyone out of the league, but if you're inactive for too long, you know.
Yeah, we only got like 5 weeks.
After more than half.
If you're AFK, you know, like.
Yeah, if you don't pull up for the first 3 weeks, that's literally more than half of the season. Kind of.
Especially after 2 weeks where you say that you're gonna come.
Yeah,
like,
it's tough.
Pause.
That is crazy.
Yeah, you're on thin ice.
Literally. Blizzard.
Oh,
Wow.
but yeah, I wish Noah a speedy recovery. I hope he's enjoying his vacation in
Yeah.
Cancun.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
That's a real picture, by the way. He's in Cancun right now.
Oh yeah, with Eli Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and the
Still
entirety
guys.
of the Dallas Stars.
Kentucky
Ah,
Enforcers shirt.
word.
Yeah.
Are the Toronto Maple Leafs there too?
The
Or are
Toronto
they
Maple
golfing?
Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs are currently looking for their Stanley Cup. They haven't found it since 1965.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Hopefully they find it on hole 18.
Yeah. Mitch Marner's really doing a great job right now. Future Saber, Mitch Marner.
Future Utah. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Nick, would you like to give us a little bit of an ad read?
You know, I was coming home from work today, and I was just driving down Niagara Falls Boulevard, and I saw this beautiful big sign that said Checkers, crazy good food, and I had to pull it. I had to run through the drive-thru. I had to order me a nice big Buford with a side of mozzarella sticks.
Crazy.
No fries?
No, just 2 big Bufords and some mozzarella sticks.
Wow.
I go big and I go bold.
And you go Buford.
I love big Bufords.
Wow. I appreciate it, bro.
Much love
I
to
can't wait.
Checkers.
I can't wait to pull up and see you there. I'm gonna order 5 big Bufords.
Bro. Anytime. I got you.
Big thanks to Checkers for sponsoring the league. Pull up to Checkers on the Boulevard, and you just might find an ABA's superstar.
There might even be a rare That Boy Sebastian sighting.
Oh,
You never know.
Maybe that's where he is.
Yeah, we have a
maybe
few-
we need to meet him at
Few
Checkers.
players in Checkers.
All right,
Maybe
moving
I
forward. Everyone's favorite segment, the ABA betting corner. So we actually have a prize. I've determined a
Ooh,
prize.
let's go.
So the reward for a parlay hit, it's not
Wow.
this necessarily, but like it's gonna be your customized ABA merch of your choice.
Wow.
So I will like pay for it for myself
Wow.
because I don't know, the first 2 weeks has made me pretty confident. This is not wood, this is though. I don't feel like anyone's gonna hit. We'll get to that in a second, but if you hit the 5-leg parlay, which can only be made on the ABA pod for
Wow.
everyone's understanding,
Exclusive.
you will receive a customized ABA jersey, hoodie, shirt, hat, whatever of your choice, and we will be in contact and get that to you before the end of the season, hopefully. So everybody has their own piece of the league.
That'd be sick.
I want a jersey so bad.
I want a hoodie.
I think it'd be cool. Like, and it also kind of gives you a little bit of choice, you know.
Yeah.
I think
Now.
a custom jersey would look so fire.
Who's
Yeah.
ready to make their odds and try and win that jersey?
I'm so ready.
Yeah, let's see him.
All right, so ABA betting corner right now. I'm gonna actually make my bets as well. For the first time, I actually have not done this yet. Let's see if that's gonna work.
I just want to find.
Yeah, you guys make sure you look at the stats. We got both stats here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to you guys because I've already seen the stats, so I know what I'm gonna do. So I'll actually start, and then I'll go to you guys. So we're gonna start with the first leg. The first leg is actually gonna be Ashton making his return after being on a cruise versus Winnipeg, and the line is gonna be over or under 2.5 assists. I think I'm gonna take the under, actually. I think I'm gonna take the under because Ashton had 1 assist in his first game. And now you might say that, like, I wanna make it very clear. I'm gonna be objective with this. I do the stats just so that, like, everyone knows I do the stats objectively. And even if it's a bad shooting game for me or something like that, like, I don't, try and force narratives.
No funny business.
No funny business. Like, I really try. You can even see with this, like if I make a mistake, I immediately will recognize it. I'm like very, very
I
much.
feel like
about
you
that.
also do put in a lot of effort by tracking
Each shot.
Yeah, like a miss that I make. Like you can see like streak shooting and everything.
Yeah.
I think that's very good.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm not gonna skew anything to try and win myself. We're gonna keep this objective and fair. So I'm going under because Belzy scored 1 assist in the first game that he played, and I think the team might have a little bit more chemistry, but I do think that the week off for Velzy and Nick might cause a little bit of that. So we're gonna see a little more iso ball potentially.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the under. What are you thinking, Nick?
I'm also gonna take the under. I just feel like assists are so hard to get in this league.
Yeah.
And I got 3 the first week, and I feel like that's the part of the game that I do best. And I feel like he is really good at getting the ball and taking it and creating scoring opportunities for himself.
Mm-hmm.
But he can also pass. But I feel like it's better if he just shoots rather than dishing to me.
I was gonna say.
You also going with the under?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the under. Just because I feel like Ashton can make great passes. It's just oftentimes like somebody will close out too quick. Or, like there's not enough confidence before they take a shot. They like hesitate or something. But I think he could get it. It's just I don't know. I feel like they need more shooters.
Now, I did get confirmation before we started recording from our ABA financial officer about these odds. So I set these odds, and then Trina confirmed it for me because he looked at it, said these were good odds. Because ABA Betting Corner is Trina's inspired segment, so he runs it. So I do have my bonus spread there, which was given the okay. So it was like I gave the check, and he said it's all good to go. So now we're actually gonna go on to your line, Max. So I'll actually start with you. 14 and a half rebounds, considering that you've had 14 rebounds in the past 2 weeks.
Oh wow!
You've had 14 rebounds exactly, which again, there's been so many repeat stats, which was getting me.
That's funny.
You had 14 rebounds exactly in the last 2 weeks. You had 14 versus us, and you had 14 versus Ottawa.
Right. It's tough because I feel like I should have gotten more boards against Ottawa, but Ashton just was everywhere on boards. So I want to say I'll get over. But I know Gabe is going to be going crazy on the boards. But that's really all. I feel like that's it. Nobody else is really in the paint all the time because they got shooters like Nick DeBesco. They had Noah.
Yeah.
But if they do get Nolan,
maybe that
will
be
a
for sure.
That could play a factor. So I'm just going to bet on myself though. I'm going to go over.
I like it.
I'll be hustling.
I think for myself, I'm also going to go over just because I've done a lot of stats. And I know that you are someone who, like, okay, anyone that has the ability to get their own rebound and put it back, that's 2 rebounds in 1 possession. You do that, Big A does that. Big A had 19 rebounds last week. There was a couple of those where he got his own rebound and put it right back. I think you're one of those people, and I think against Gabe, I think you're going to feast. I'm taking the over, bro. Oof. I think you're going to have over 14. I think that you're going to have at least 15. That's just why I'm taking the over. Like, I'm confident you're going to get at least 15. Okay. If Newman and freaking Nolan could get 15 against Gabe's full team, and then they're losing Noah, I think you're taking 15. What do you think?
I'm also going to take the over. Vegas just is not a great rebounding team, in my opinion. 30 rebounds right here from Newman and Nolan. Even Trina getting 5 is pretty big.
Yeah, 27 rebounds for the whole team last week.
Which is not great.
And that's against a team with only Newman, Nolan, and Trina.
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
That is crazy.
The 2 best rebounders from Ottawa from week 1 were not there, and they still got out-rebounded by a pretty significant margin.
Now, the line is tough because it's a high line.
Yeah.
But,
Newman and Nolan
I feel confident. Newman got a lot of those rebounds because he was just kind of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Moving on, though, we're going to go on to Gabe, and this is going to be an interesting one because I'm really curious to start with. I think I know what you're going to say. To start with Nick, Gabe had 1 2-point made the first week, and then he had 2 made last week on 4 attempts. Nick, what are you thinking about the over-under of 1.5?
It's so tough. This is a great line. Just like the last one. These are some great lines. I'm really undecided. This is real tough. I'm going to take a look.
For me, I think this is one of the tougher lines that we had.
It's crazy because looking at the box score from last week, Gabe missed a lot of shots. So it all depends. Is he going to keep shooting from the 2 if he starts off?
Because he was hesitant. He was hesitant from the 2 because he started 1 of 7 last game. Or the first game, 1 of 7. Last game, 2 of 4.
That's what I'm saying. So if he starts off cold from the 2, is he going to keep shooting the twos, or is he going to try to drive more?
Yeah.
That's the question. So that's why I'm going to take the under.
Taking the under.
It's just too risky. There's too much up for debate. And if I've learned anything from gambling, it's the under usually hits. The gambling companies want you to take the over, but it's usually an under. That's coming from a man who's 0 for 20 on Prize Picks.
I'm gonna take the over though. Like 0 for 20 on Prize Picks. Maybe that makes you 0 for 21 with the ABA bet. But I'm taking the over because I think that you guys are going to forget, because that's what happened this game to me. Now maybe you won't, but in the middle of the game, Gabe will drive to the point where everyone's thinking he's going to drive at all times, and you sag off just enough to the point where he does that high release and he's like, yeah, and then he hits it.
Right.
And if he makes one, that's all it takes for him, because in that first game, it went 1 for 7, and the one he made was the last one. If he gets one in, he feels good. He will take another one, and he will more likely make it than not. I need him to hit 2. I think he can do it.
He's so streaky. He started
not like a 50% shooter all the time from 3.
He started 0 for 13 in week 1, and then proceeded to hit his next 6.
I think that was the worst game he's had. Max, so I'm guessing you're taking the under, right?
I'm taking the under just because I'm gonna be guarding him everywhere. I'm not gonna give him any.
You're not gonna switch at all.
He's not gonna let him take 2 threes.
That's the thing. Yeah, I feel like I can stop him from taking 2 threes.
What if you switch off though?
But like, when would I really have to switch? Like,
That's
who's
true.
setting a screen on me? Nolan.
That's actually a good point.
Nick, like he doesn't
really
he doesn't hustle enough to like set a proper screen.
If Gabe sets the screen and then you chase, maybe.
I'm just gonna stick on Gabe. I'm gonna gas him.
All right. Well,
even though he's cross country.
Onto one more person at this table. I'll start with myself. So I've scored 4 points the last 2 weeks. I'm trying to not let it get to my confidence. I'm actually feeling pretty good, you know? I think that it's a mindset when I'm more aggressive and I go to my game of driving to the net and like scoring down low. I think that's where I do best. I want to try spacing the floor a little bit, but I don't want to try too much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if it's not falling, it's not falling. If they're giving me wide open looks, probably because I'm not making them. So maybe I should be a little more cautious there. I'm going to take the over. I've had 2 weeks of, like Max said, betting on yourself. I've had 2 weeks of 4 points. That's the lowest I've ever scored. Like last season, I think I had 1 game with 4 points. I know I can be better than that. I know for Big A and my team, I have to be better than that. So I'm going to bet that I will be. But I do understand this is another tough line. If you have 4 points in back-to-back leagues.
It's going to be tough this week.
What are you thinking, Nick?
I'm going to take the under. Unfortunately, like I said...
So disrespectful.
No, it's okay. I get it.
I think you're going to score 4 points again.
For the third straight week.
For the third straight week.
The repeat stats.
Just because, hear me out. Big A shoots the ball so much.
That's a good point.
And if he starts hitting, you're only going to shoot the ball less and less and less.
Yeah?
He demands the ball. And you're going to give that man the ball. You decided a little bit of your team because of Big A, if I remember correctly. So, if he wants the ball, you're going to give him it. He is the number 1 pick.
So what are you thinking, Max?
Well, first thing that comes to mind is matchups, because I'm thinking it's going to be, what, Big A on Newman? Or Newman trying to guard Big A?
Yeah.
Maybe me. We'll see.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. Yeah.
I feel like Big A is going to be... I know Newman can. I feel like Big A is going to be needing both of them.
Honestly, I think you would need those.
I think it's going to be like kind of like a rotating defense or something. If someone's getting cooked, it's going to switch. And
I'm just really trying to figure out who Ashton is going to be on, because I'm guessing it's going to be you, but then again, it could be Nick. And then that would be what? Ashton on who else?
My third, so that's either Jimmy or Nolan, Jimmy or Jackson.
I personally think that Ashton's going to guard you, and then I feel like he's a good defender. I'm kind of thinking it might be the under 2.
Okay.
Plus what Nick said about Big A being like, you know, the main star on your team. He gets the ball the most.
This is just filling that motivation bar.
I hope it
boys.
does,
I'm feeling good.
I can see you going over.
I hope you, yeah.
I just see with like the team you've constructed, you have a guy who shoots almost as much as everybody else on the team combined.
Which normally would be a good thing for me because I'm naturally more of a passer myself. You know, like I want to be.
Yeah, but we're talking about
But when we're talking about scoring, I think I do need to be smart with the shots I'm taking, which I can make shots when I'm on my game. We know this. Like we've all seen me play before. There's a reason I was a captain. You know, like not just because no one wanted to do it, but because like there was pretty good consensus among the league that like I could be the 4th best player. Now with Big A in it, I think that might change. Absolutely.
Probably MVP.
100%, which means he would definitely switch it. But I'm thinking about it like this because I think Big A is one of the most talented players in the league, on the same level, if not more, of you and Gabe. Which would mean that I need to start thinking about how I'm doing for my stock next year. And I think right now, this is my hot take. If we did a draft for next season, I don't think I'm a 1st round pick. I don't think that I am. I think that you go Noah, Newman. I feel like Nick is close, and then I think Tom is also close. So it's close.
Tom's definitely up there.
I think Tom is up there. I'm saying like with myself, for those 3, you get 4.
But like what you said, did you include Noah in there?
Yeah, Noah,
He'd be
Newman,
fine by then.
Noah, Newman.
This is a year from now. So.
Nick got drafted pretty high.
Yeah.
So now the bonus bet, the AJ bonus bet, first one. It is going to be the AJ bonus spread. When I do this, I think I'm going to put in the spread.
Okay.
So this is going to be interesting because it's win by 2. So obviously there's not going to be any 1.5 pick your winner.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is fair. Winnipeg's 0-2. Ottawa is 1-1. Ottawa at -4.5 versus Winnipeg. Or you got Vegas -2.5 versus Houston. So obviously conversely you can take the +4.5 or +2.5. So I just put it for the favorites on the board. I think I'll start on this one. Obviously, like I want to bet on my team, but also I don't want to be betting on my team the whole time. You know what I mean? Like I have confidence in my team. I do, but I do want to bet on the Vegas Houston line because I like it a little bit more. To be honest with you, 4.5 kind of scares me because it's like we've played close games each time, which makes me think that like we might not play a close game. I think that we can win, but I don't want to jinx it. Do you know what? Like I don't want to jinx it. So I think
it's hard to predict a blowout.
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the Houston line. I'm gonna take Houston +2.5. I'm gonna bet on your team, Max.
Put me down for the same thing.
Put you down for the same thing? Is it because you're I think that might be the best line that I've got up there.
Yeah, the best.
Because Vegas should be the favorites because they're 2-0, you know, but it's a lot closer than you might think because if you guys lose by 2, which just means Vegas wins,
that's like what we
the line hits.
Yeah.
If you guys lose by 3, it doesn't. Like it's that close. What are you thinking, Nick?
I'm gonna take Winnipeg +4.5 because in this league, there's really not blowouts ever. Because you got Big A, so he's basically guaranteed to drop at least 10 points.
Yeah,
and we can only get up to 21.
Yeah,
and then you just need 3 or 4 from like 1 or 2 people, and it's right there. And I just don't see a team winning by 5 points or more because it's that the league is that close. Like all the teams 100%. Are very, very, very similar to each other in terms of skill level because I feel like we've done a great job at building a league that's competitive.
All right, next segment. We're doing trade talk.
Ooh, okay.
Because the trade deadline, for those of us who might not know, the trade deadline is this upcoming Saturday night at 11:59 p.m. Captains will have to make known to the commissioners if they're making any trades, and we will announce it. No trading past 11:59. Last year we had the trade deadline like a week before the end of the season.
Yeah.
So now it's 2 weeks before the end of the season, which I think is fair. And only 5 on a roster. Gabe has a roster spot currently. We'll see what happens. I might have an open roster spot. Velzy might have an open roster spot, or we'll see what happens with Cam and Sebastian. But also Gabe has a roster spot right now because Noah got hurt. So you never know with injuries what might happen. And we're gonna start with my Winnipeg Blizzard. What you said earlier, you think that a trade might be something that we need to do. Which of these guys do you think AJ Miskinnis right here would consider trading. I'm gonna stay out of. I think we should stay out of our own teams.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
What do you think for me? What do you think a good move might be?
Well, I've heard talk of Jimmy for Nolan. If you want to go back on your draft night and I don't know, maybe do what you said you would do and pick Nolan over Jimmy. So I think that.
How do you think that would improve my team?
I think it'd give you. Well, I'm not sure if you really need more rebounding, but
Great.
I think he would come in for Jackson as like a better just workhorse.
Yeah, better workhorse.
But Jimmy as a shooter is valuable.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want you to get rid of Jimmy actually.
Yeah,
I'd say Nolan for Jackson.
Nolan for Jackson, if I could. What do you think, Nick?
I think Jackson could use a change of scenery after the first 2 weeks. It'll depend on how he plays in week 3. But 0 points, only 1 shot, 2 turnovers, and 2 fouls in the first week.
Yeah.
And in the second week, 4 turnovers, 1 foul, and only 2 points on 2 for 7.
I'm pretty sure him and Max and Nolan are tied right now for the league in fouls. But again, it's call your own fouls, so
That's what I'm saying.
take that with a grain
I
of
don't
salt.
really care about fouls, but it's the turnovers.
Mhm.
He just might turn the ball over too much in your system. He might need a new system to flourish.
Yeah.
I don't really know where he could go that would be good for him.
Mhm.
Maybe to Las Vegas.
Maybe pair him with Gabe.
That's what I'm saying. Because you need a guy who's going to be a little bit less perimeter focused and a little bit more around the basket.
Yeah, like more of a facilitator for sure.
And a little bit scrappier too. They don't really got a lot of scrap outside of Gabe, and I feel like you might need that as a guy coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Plus having a roster spot too.
So you could do 2 for 1 if you're Gabe, which we're gonna actually turn into Max right now. We're gonna turn into your team. So
about it.
Jackson for Eric. I could see that
Jackson
trade.
I can't.
I'm just coming up with rumors here.
All right. So next up, speaking of rumors,
Turned out.
Nick, you can talk about this one. Because you know you're not your team captain.
Right.
Ottawa Grey Jays. Now I put Nolan on here. I put Nolan also on Vegas in a minute because we don't know who he's gonna be on. Whatever team he's on though, I don't think that he gets traded if it's Ottawa. But if they lose, like again, who knows if Velzy makes a move? You're 1-2 at that point. Like it's gonna be interesting because it's gonna be the same day. The deadline's gonna be the same day, so you might have a rash reaction. You know what I mean? Like I kind of like that. Who could you guys see on the chopping block potentially?
I'll go last since it's my team.
That's fair.
Okay. I mean, I hate to say it. I love the guy, but maybe Trina, just because he isn't that physical in the paint. He just he gets by sometimes. He is a good shooter, but so far he hasn't improved it from 3.
Yeah.
It's been like the corner and just kind of some circus shots in the paint that falls sometimes, but. I can see him trading like A-Train for like Joel.
Yeah, that could be.
That could be a possibility, but
or maybe you just go full depth. You go Dan for Trina, you know.
Heart and soul.
Could be. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I feel like Dan played all right. Like he just didn't make the shots. He got good looks.
They looked decent. Like his form was pretty decent.
I know he's putting a little bit of work. I would say for me, I would think that if Velzy gets Nolan, he's not moving off Nolan. Velzy's not moving off Newman. You know, I don't think Velzy would move off you, but I wouldn't count it out. I think Trina's the guy that gets moved if Velzy makes a move, just to try and maybe mix up the chemistry a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think, Nick?
I don't know. It's a lot harder. Obviously, one, because it's my team, and I feel like from the first week we played very well together, and we ended up winning by a pretty comfortable amount. But obviously, you know, 2 of your guys don't show up, and you're 1-1. You don't really know where things stand, and if you lose, I feel like anybody could get moved. I could get moved.
Yeah.
It all, like, you got me and Newman, both, you know, bigger, get the rebounds kind of guys. If you get Nolan, then you got like 3 guys who are good at getting rebounds. Do you trade me for a shooter?
Yeah.
It all depends on, you know, if you win or not. I think we don't necessarily need another shooter because Newman shoots, Belzy obviously shoots, and you need guys who will get the boards and work in the paint. And I think I had 3 assists
Week 1,
week 1, which is pretty good. I don't know how this works. Yeah, 3 assists, and I am shooting the best field goal percentage in the league. So I feel like I could go for a pretty good amount. I mean,
Yeah.
Leading the league in field goal percentage.
I'd say after Noah, you're probably right now the most improved player. After 1 week, but still.
Agreed.
After 1 week, but still. So now on to the last one. I saved the most interesting one for last, given the captain and all the stuff going on with the team. They're 2-0. Look at Dan. They're 2-0.
Oh my God.
They're 2-0.
Cartoon, bro.
But I'm really curious to know, like, what is Gabe gonna do? Do you think that he's gonna make a move after this? We'll start with Nick.
I don't know. I feel like if Nolan does go back to Vegas, he might get shipped out immediately.
That'd be so funny.
Gabe is so petty, and he just hit Nolan in the face with a basketball. There is no way they stay on the same team. There is no chance.
I don't
That
believe
bridge
it.
is burned.
What do you think? Who do you think would potentially get moved? I don't think he'd move Nick or Joel, so I feel like it would have to be Nolan, right?
That's if like he's on that team, you know, seeing if Sebastian plays or not. I feel like Nolan would go play with the Grey Jays if Sebastian doesn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a coin toss for me if he even does that, like show up or anything. So
Do you think Gabe would trade Dan? I think that's.
But what value does he get? Like who
knows what his value really is though?
Like if
he
you
doesn't
look
really
he doesn't play that
play.
much.
if you look at the box score, who do you realistically think would be an equal trade for Dan?
Would you do a Trina for Dan swap? Like
What?
let's say Velzy
Dan
and
for
Gabe
Trina?
were like Dan for Trina. I feel like that'd
But
be
does that do anything for your team? Like if you lose, are you bringing in
These guys are gonna have to play for Gabe. Whoever's on his
yeah.
team right now, they're gonna have to play for Gabe. So he's got to look at it, and I think he will. From how can I maximize the guys that I have? Because like, dude, Nick, Joel, Gabe, I don't know if that's a winning combination.
I also just don't feel like Trina and Gabe would mesh well.
That's true. I could see that. I
Gabe
mean, you
would
could
get
say that
so
about a lot of
pissed.
people. You say
Yeah,
that.
I feel like Gabe would get pissed at Trina, and then Trina just wouldn't be like, alright, bro, what the fuck?
You're like, I'm here to chuck shots, not you.
For real.
He's in a pretty after that Noah injury. I think he's in a pretty interesting spot though.
It is very,
Does he
Very
go
odd.
to
I think we
shooting?
might expect some calls.
maybe, but I'm not turning him down.
He's been saying like, oh, like Big A. I want Big A on my
Honestly,
team.
losing
No
Noah
shot.
was probably the worst thing that could have happened to him. Like,
Yeah.
value wise.
Even if he lost that game, you could have traded him.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we're gonna wrap this up now. I don't know what the time is. We haven't been looking. I'm probably not gonna. I'll just put it up there. What are we saying for final words? Do you have anything you want to say about the upcoming weekend?
I'm just excited to get back out there, man. Missing a week sucked. Like I was at work, like damn,
Yeah.
I want to go play some fucking basketball. I was bummed, so bummed. So I'm just excited to get back to playing.
Yeah, it's fun, and that's what it is. You know, like I say, the league is as serious as you take it, and it's a very fun league to play in with your friends for a lot of the reasons. You know, like there are some people that make some headaches, but in the end of the day, we're all having fun. You know, the podcast is
Have a good
fun.
time.
The trophy, the banquet will be fun. Like this kind of thing, I think it's a fun thing for us to do in the summer. Next.
I'm just looking forward to next week. I wish that I could have played a healthy, full roster Gamblers, but still looking forward to it. Still looking forward to a dub.
For sure.
That's it.
And I'll wrap it up by saying, get well soon, Noah.
Lots
Come
of
back
prayers.
strong
Lots of
next
prayers.
year. You know we're rooting for you. Come back player of the year next year on lock for sure, 100%. And
Big rally coming up.
I think I'll end it by saying congratulations to Gabe and Max for winning Player of the Week last week. It was, you know, back to the norm after Noah won it and broke the trend of Belzy, Max, and Gabe winning Players of the Week. But this week, I think we might see something different because I feel like it's coming back to Winnipeg, baby. I think we're getting in the W column.